In a 1931 interview, Tesla said, "If only you knew the magnificence of the 3, 6 and the 9, then you would have the key to the universe." Tesla was convinced that the number 3, 6 and 9 were key to understanding the universe and its mysteries. Okay, so take out your phone. I've got it down to just 5 numbers that you need. And look at the calculator. I want you to look at the number 3. 3 is the cornerstone. Going vertical, you've got 3, 6, 9. Going horizontal, you've got 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9. But 3 is the cornerstone. 1 is 1/3, 2 is 2/3, 3 is 3/3. 3/3 times 2 is 6. 3/3 times 3 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. The 3 is the cornerstone. I want you to focus on the 3. 1 is 1/3 of 3. 2 is 2/3 of 3. 3 is 3/3 of 3, or 1 whole unit. 1 whole unit is in the cornerstone. Now this is a fractal system. When I say the corner unit, that cornerstone, and in this case we've gone 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9. It doesn't have to be that. We can plug in any figures. Let's put 9 as a cornerstone. 9, 1/3 of 9 is 3. 2/3 of 9 is 6. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. Do another one. 24 in the cornerstone. 24. 1/3 of 24 is 8. 2 8s are 16. So 2/3 of 24 are 16. 24 times 2 is 48. 24 times 3 is 72. So we can see that this is just a fractal unit, meaning that the system is the same, the ratios are the same, depending on, the cornerstone can be whatever. What you're dealing with is 1/3 of the cornerstone, and then that cornerstone times by 2 or times by 3. It's also important to know that all of the ancient civilizations worked in base 3, which is why we get 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 12 hours per day, 12 hours per night, 24 hours. It's all base 3. And this is why I think, I love how scientists are trying to figure out Mayan calendars. And they're looking at it from a base 10 perspective. It's all in base 3. All the ancient civilizations worked in base 3. This is what I think Tesla 369 is alluding to as well. Tesla had also stated regarding his alternating current, there and back, claiming it was a more natural system because it had ebb and flow. Like the ocean, rises and falls. Similarly, living things breathe. With that in mind, this idea of the 369 basically looks to be explaining both expansion and contraction of the universe. 3, 6, 9 expanded, 9, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9 expanding, 9, 3, 1 contracting. Much like breathing, maybe the universal breathing. I tried to alleviate both the 2 and the 6 from the system, but unfortunately you can't, because the universe does multiply by 2. It definitely does. I mean, we're human beings, and our cells divide by 2, don't they? 1 cell becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, becomes 32, becomes 64, becomes 128, becomes, 256? What is it after that? 512, I think. So what would that be? 1024? I'm not very good at math, as you can tell, but anyway, so that's phase 1 out of the way. We've basically covered the simple arithmetic, the fractal system, the expansion and contraction of the breathing of the universe, the 369 that Tesla talks about. Now the next phase is simple geometry, and this will link the work of Tesla to the work of Pythagoras. Okay, so this guitar between the bridge here and the nut here is 24 inches. That means that we can divide it into thirds. And if we do that, there's 1/3 just there between my fingers. I'm going to hold that finger there, and there is the middle third. And then between there and there is the final third. Now what I need you to do is to use your imagination and imagine that string is absolutely solid, and that I bend it up from the bridge. 8 inches comes up and across there, and I do the same thing here, 8 inches up. So we've got 8 inches in the middle of the neck, stays flat. I've bent 8 inches up, I bend another 8 inches up, and what have I got? I've got a triangle. I've got an equilateral triangle. Now, this is the geometry I was talking about. That's 60 degrees at the top, 60 degrees there, and 60 degrees there. We know that adds up to 180. 1 and 8 is 9. 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 666, the number of the beast. The second part of that, Picture the triangle there, equilateral triangle, but Pythagoras is famous for the right angle triangle. To make an equilateral into a right angle, you just simply put a line down the centre and split it into two. Now, let's look at one side of it. That's 90 degrees, 9. That's 60 degrees, 6. And that's 30 degrees, 3, 6, 9 again. 3, 6, 9, 30, 60, 90 adds up to 180. If we then include the other triangle, is 90 degrees, 30 degrees and 60 degrees. So both of those added up together, 180 and 180 is 360, which is the circle, which we're going to get to in a minute. The other thing that should be mentioned as well, if you had a right angle triangle and you just add that line as a mirror line, you would mirror a left-handed triangle. The reason I mention this is that Leonardo da Vinci used mirrors a lot in his work. Going back over the math, 180 degrees, 1 and 8 is 9, 180 degrees, one triangle, plus the left-handed triangle, which is 180 degrees, equals 360 degrees. 3 and 6 is 9 again. Obviously 9, a third of 9 is 3. Base 3 is prevalent in the angles of construction. Triangles and right angles, 45 degree angles as well. 4 and 5 is 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Base 3 is in all the angles of construction as well. The Tesla 369 is also working into the work of Pythagoras, which is also being interpreted by the work of Leonardo da Vinci. But now I'm going to go back and use the string again. This time, instead of bending it in thirds, I'm just going to bend the whole thing up into a circle. The circumference of that circle is 24 inches because we had a straight line, the guitar string, that's 24 inches. We fold it up, it becomes a 24-inch circle. We also know that the triangle, 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, fits right onto that circle, dividing it equally. Look at the degrees. From the one point of the triangle to the second point, 120 degrees. 1 and 2 is 3. Same thing, 120 degrees, 120, 1 and 2 is 3, 1 and 2 is 3, 1 and 2 is 3. So that's the first part of the video where I've basically covered the simple arithmetic and some of the simple geometry. I'll do the next part which will expand into frequencies and music. The overlaps of arithmetic, geometry and music will start to reveal different things. Anyway, if you like this, like it, ring a bell, go and buy Pavlov's dog a little bone or whatever you got to do. Maybe talk to Terence Howard. He's too into bass too, I think, but that's just my opinion. What do you think? Put it in the comments below.